Hello and welcome to the Good Friday edition of The Marketplace. My name is Charles Aiche. This afternoon, COVID-19 protocols restrictions has again affected usual surge in sales for businesses this Easter season. We place a spotlight on Kumasi and Accra as all beaches remain closed amid police deployment. Also, in this edition of the Marketplace, we feature a young graduate, Joe, who abandoned the luxury of life offered him in his plush family home in Accra to make a living up north with poultry farming. We get to hear his story. And later, an exclusive with the Canadian High Commissioner to Ghana, Kati Chibam, on women empowerment and investment for businesses. We have all these stories and more. Stay with us after this break. Hello and welcome. Now, COVID-19 protocols restrictions has again affected the usual surge in sales for businesses during this season of Easter. Event centers that often cash in on the celebration have had their hopes dashed. Now, this is due to government and security agencies resolving to strictly enforce COVID-19 protocols. So the usual activities that often land in some good revenue for businesses may not happen this time around. Well, here in Accra, police have been stationed across all beaches to drive off revelers. This is all to ensure that the holiday does not inch up COVID-19 cases. Well, let's now cross over to one of such beaches, Bojo Beach, where my colleague Maxwell Agbagba joins us live for some updates. So, Maxwell, you've been there the entire day. I could see an empty beach behind you. What are you gathering?
Yeah. Well, Charles, as you rightly mentioned, it is an empty beach. Bojo Beach is one of the busiest places, especially on holidays. You have a lot of revelers trooping here to have fun at this beach, but that is not happening here today. The only people allowed access to the beach, as you can see, some fishermen who are pulling their net just some distance from here. Just some minutes ago, a truck full of soldiers just left this place, but still stationed here though, and still maintaining a presence here. Our personnel drawn from the formed police unit in Accra, who are stationed right at the entrance of the Bojo Beach. The armed police officers are not allowing people in here. If you don't have a good reason, maybe you're using the hotel here or maybe the restaurant here, you'll not be given access at all. I've seen families who showed up here in swimsuit but asked to go home because of the strict enforcement of the COVID-19 protocols. I've also seen some personnel from the national security also policing this place here at Bojo Beach. Even as I speak to you, just about 100 meters away from where I'm standing, about 3 police officers, females, are standing here ensuring that nobody gets access to the beach behind me. But like you rightly mentioned, this is having a toll and suffocating the businesses dotted along the coastlines here at Kokrobite. And the Bojo Beach is heavily affected. I have with me here the general manager for Bojo Beach, Alan Muzenda, and he's going to tell us more about this. Alan, you're welcome to join us.
Thank you.
Tell us, on a normal day, when you're celebrating a day like this, holiday like this, what does the Bojo Beach look like?
All right. On a normal day, per se, I'll start with the figures. We will have approximately 1,000 to 1,500 people who join us celebrating, okay? Right. So this place being spanned in 3 locations. We have the beach itself, we have the mainland, we have the hotel. The beach has its own restaurant, right? The mainland has its own restaurant, then the hotel got a number of restaurants, in which, if all this was in full use, today was going to be a big day for us all spanning through the Easter holiday. Yes.
So tell me, how is this affecting you? I've seen quite a number of people, coming in here but not given access to this place. The only people given access are those staying at the hotel. In fact, the beach itself is completely empty. The only people there are the fishermen. And we've seen soldiers coming in and going out. How is this affecting the business? And how is it impacting on how you run this place?
Okay, truly speaking, this has impacted negatively on the business quite much. Right. Our first take on the basis of tax paying we pay tax, okay? And all the revenue streams we have, there's always a government contribution to that. Okay. So with all this, we have lost revenue, we have lost customers, and as well, the government on its own, they have lost even tax, right? If they'd allowed us to open, right? Enforcing strict COVID protocols, right? Whereby we do social distancing, we had planned to give free masks, we had specific numbers of people who could come through, that we should not overlap the number that we deemed necessary or that we deemed good to curb COVID spread. So with that, our business has been drawn down so much. Number two, we have a socio-economic responsibility, whereby we have employees whom we employed, quite a large number of employees, right? Now it's quiet, there is nothing. All those employees for the next coming period, they'll be redundant and unneeded, right? Those people have also families to support. They have dependents and all that. All those people are going to suffer, all because of this, right? So we're not going to get anything out of it. So, yeah, it's drastic. And considering that most of the clients, customers have been turned away, if it was well communicated, okay, the beach we've closed. We got no problem with that. We closed the beach according to the government regulations, okay? But they should allow us only to open the mainland. There's a restaurant right here, okay? The hotel as well. There's a restaurant over there. Even if people don't come for accommodation, but the restaurant itself, the mainland itself, the beach we've closed. We didn't deny that. We did. So there should be probably prior assessment as to, as we close, which other things which might remain open and all that. But as we stand, right now the police by the main gate, they are shunning everybody away. There is nobody coming in, so there's no business we can be doing.
But how can we balance this? Because we are also looking at how we can keep a healthy population even after the celebration of Easter, because our cases actually peaked after the Xmas festivities, and with the benefit of hindsight, government said, look, we need to strictly enforce this, restrictions. So how do you think we can properly balance this? Do you think you are in a position to ensure that patrons respect the COVID-19 protocols? Because, I mean, at a beach, for instance, I don't think that's possible, is it?
Okay, fine, that's all right. I believe that we are able to contain that, all right? With the assistance of the military or the police and all that, right? If we are to bring in people, we set specific figures or specific numbers and rules and regulations by which, if people want to enjoy the beach, right? There's certain distance they should keep on and all that. They should encroach in some other space and all that. Everybody to put on a mask, all these kind of things. And there should be prior assessment if the facility has space enough to contain quite a large number of people. Look at our beach. It spans from that end to that end as compared to other beaches. We have space over here, all being not used, okay? We have space by the water. It's all vast, right? So as of Bojo Beach, I understand that we should be an exception, kind of, because we have all the space. Whatever we want to implement in terms of social distancing and all that, we are able to do that. We can do that. We don't have any
Finally, what feedback have you been getting from your patrons? Many of them, I saw them living disappointed. What feedback have they been giving you?
Oh yeah, in terms of feedback, okay, we try to liaise with them, right? That whatever that is going on, it's out of our control. But by all means possible, when we are fully back open, we will welcome them.
Okay,
sure.
Okay, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Okay, so Charles, you just heard from the general manager for Bojo Beach, Alan Muzenda, speaking to us, talking about the impact and how these COVID-19 strict enforcement of this COVID-19 protocols are actually suffocating the business here, Charles.
So grateful for that particular update from Bojo Beach. We could feel the pain of the manager, but as you rightly stated, they have no option at this moment because this remains the directive from the seat of government. Many thanks, Maxwell, once again. From the Bojo Beach, we turn our attention to Kumasi, where Prince Appiah reports on how restrictions there are having an impact on profit margins. Take a look.
Do you all remember when Ghana recorded the first 3 COVID-19 cases? Do you remember how much a bottle of hand sanitizer was going for? At first, a small bottle, I bought mine at 2 cedis, but later the price shot up to 10 Ghana cedis. Look where we are now. People are even begging us to buy their hand sanitizers, and some people are even giving it to us for free.
Salons record high sales during Easter celebrations, but Dinah Akwabwabusompem, a beautician and cosmetologist, had to close her salon last year due to the pandemic.
So last year, Easter, we were on lockdown, so the salon was closed, but we were selling our products online.
To stay in business, she switched to the manufacturing of hand sanitizers. Sales were good.
So last year when COVID came, we had a backup plan and another business model which was not part of the initial plan of 360 Naturals. We went into hand sanitizer production. So last year during this period, the money or the business that sustained 360 Naturals was the hand sanitizer production or the hand sanitizer business.
However, the sale of hand sanitizers is slow this year. She attributes it to the COVID vaccines and the adherence to safety protocols.
Right now, you can all attest to it. Hand sanitizer usage has really gone up. And the most important thing is the clients want it cheap, but the raw material to make quality hand sanitizers are not cheap. And generally, the patronage has gone down.
Today, the sale of sanitizer on the market has declined. Hand sanitizers purchased last year are still sitting in shops of some traders.
Sales were good
last year, but it is low this year. The sale of hand sanitizers is slow. The vaccine has accounted for this low sales. I am not selling the sanitizers Dinah and some of her colleagues who invested heavily in the sale of COVID prevention materials are recounting losses.
I know people who invested and took another business model out of COVID and now they've regretted, like the face shield, the face mask, but with 360. And we everything that we do it strategically. We don't just go in with all our resources. So for hand sanitizer, we targeted quarterly 4 months. So from April, May, June, July, then the sales started dropping. As at now, I have volumes of hand sanitizer base sitting at the warehouse.
Easter is here and Dinah is back to her cosmetic business. She does not regret switching to manufacture hand sanitizers.
We've never regretted. That time, that was the best decision that we took.
In this year's Easter season, businesses like Dinah's and other sanitizer producers will have to find alternative ways to stay afloat. Mona Lisa Frimpong reporting.
Well, he settled for guinea fowl rearing the minute he stepped out of the then Tamale Polytechnic, now the Tamale Technical University. And that's a rare story of most fresh graduates. Jonathan Akpalu, aka Joe, told Joy Business on his farm in Tamale it was the nostalgia from his father's farm, that inspired him to take up the venture, only to find out that there is more in store for him in the poultry business. Here's more on his story.
Guinea fowl meat is a delicacy in Ghana. Sadly for patrons, it is expensive and hard to come by. Unsuspecting clients are sometimes shortchanged at some popular sale joints and eateries. They are sold dressed chicken instead of guinea fowl meat. With his knowledge and his little experience on his father's vegetable farm, Joe abandoned the luxury life offered him in his plush family home in Accra and set out to make a living for himself up north. This was in 2008. 13 years down the line, I visited Joe on his farm.
It's been exciting over the years. It was a bad news from the beginning, but I thank God for adventurous nature of life. Because the very first bed we did in 2009, our largest production was 600 beds. Okay. We lost them all in 1 week.
Poultry farming is now an elementary task for Joe. The depth of knowledge he has is saving his colleague farmers a great deal in their poultry business. Another opportunity to make ends meet via consultancy services.
When your birds died and you accidentally caused death and you call it mortality, I wouldn't agree with you. Okay. When birds die of a disease you are not aware of, or it came out of a transfer from another place, then we can be struggling with mortality. Okay. But if maybe you didn't give the nutritious food, you didn't control the microclimate for them, macro and micro for them, and then the birds are dying, you can't call that mortality. Many farmers say, my birds have died. Then I tell them, you kill the birds. Then they say, no. Then I start the question. By the time we get to halfway, they agree, yes, I killed them, but I didn't intentionally kill them.
While providing the consultancy, Joe identified yet another opportunity, a great need among his colleague farmers. Incubators for hatchery.
Yes, sir. This is level one of the nets.
With his engineering background, Joe personally manufactures incubators of various sizes to assist poultry farmers near and far to incubate their eggs to hatch. He currently operates one of the famous hatcheries in Tamale to support various farmers in the industry.
A machine like that is strictly for hatching. So the chicks that we are seeing down is because they are in small numbers. This one holds about 1,600. So this is quite a small number. Oh, okay. That's why we actually have it this way. Okay.
Having harnessed these opportunities in the poultry industry, could there be any threat to owning and maintaining a viable poultry farm in Dungu and its environs?
Poultry industry, more specifically guinea fowl, it's profitable. The only problem we have is we don't have control over the food stuff or the ingredients, mainly maize, soya, probably fish. And so at any given time the price could swell, as we saw later parts in November, December, where prices just went so high and has affected the poultry industry.
For now, the future looks bright for Joe and his colleague farmers up north who are into poultry business. Their major challenge, however, is the availability of land and capital to expand. MFI Tiamwa Eli for JoyNews, Dungu.
Impressive. Now, the Canadian government has supported the country with developmental projects worth about $50 million over the last couple of years. According to the Canadian High Commissioner to Ghana, Kati Chabab, about $150,000 is being channeled into the agri sector and other support schemes to help the country achieve its sustained economic growth. Head of Joy Business, Odilia Ntiamwam, has been speaking to her. Here's more.
Well, good afternoon, Ambassador. This will be the second time you have been on our channel since you came to Ghana, and indeed, you're really welcome. Today, you have launched 4 products or 4 projects that will have several dollars invested in it, about $30 million. And then also, you're looking at basically empowering women. Would this be part of the feminist assistance policy that Canada launched in 2017, or this is a deviation from this new policy?
First of all, let me say thank you for having me on your program. It's a delight to be on your station again, and thank you for the warm welcome. Yes, in fact, the projects that I announced today, the 4 projects that are focused on women's economic empowerment, are very much in line with Canada's Feminist International Assistance Policy, which, as you say, was launched in 2017. That policy is focused on gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls as being at the very heart of poverty reduction around the world. And so by focusing on women's empowerment, we feel that we are doing a lot to overcome poverty and inequality within society. So the work that we are doing through the Feminist International Assistance Policy focuses, as I say, on gender equality and empowering women and girls through different aspects. And this is a progression from how Canada was working in the past. In the past, gender equality was always a cross-cutting issue for any and all of our projects. But now we are making women and girls the very center of every program that we support. So we know that this is the best way to support poverty reduction and also to support every country's sustainable development goals.
It's obvious that COVID-19 has deepened the poverty levels, especially in developing countries, and Ghana not exempt from this. Is there anything, or is there going to be any shift in this direction towards even the funding amounts and, of course, the projects and programs that these programs will concentrate on?
Well, we know that women have been affected disproportionately by COVID-19 in a number of ways, including in health, but also in their economic capacity. And so the work that we're doing already supports women in responding and rebounding. But we have, of course, taken the opportunity to reorient or to pivot some of our projects so that they can respond more immediately to some of those immediate challenges. So yes, we are, and we have also put in place certain projects that were specifically there to support the COVID-19 relief efforts. But all of the programs that we are funding here will, in their own way, be able to contribute to the economic recovery from COVID-19.
Is there anything you're doing in the area of vaccination in terms of donations or anything?
Well, Canada is a very proud funder and sponsor of the COVAX facility, which, as you know, was put in place to ensure that all lower and middle income countries around the world would have access to at least a minimum number of vaccines as a donation. And so we were very proud to be one of the funders of the COVAX facility from the very start. And so we know that when Ghana became the first country to receive its component of its first allotment of vaccines a few weeks ago, we were proud to be one of the donors that had made that possible.
Yes. Tell us, Ambassador, tell us about these 4 new programs that you have just launched and when they are taking effect, how many women will be affected in general?
So the 4 projects that I announced today, some of them have already just gotten started in terms of work. Others are in the process of preparing to start their activities. But overall, between the 4 of them, we are contributing a total of 30 million Canadian dollars. And that is going to provide support to approximately 31,000 Ghanaian women and girls.
Yeah. So I just wanted you to run us through the 4 different programs, why that is very important to Canada.
Okay. Yeah. So we announced 4 projects today, and they're working in different aspects of women's economic empowerment, mostly focused on rural areas and peri-urban areas in several regions of Ghana, including in the north. And so 2 of the projects are focused on helping women to engage in skills training that may be in non-traditional areas for women, that things that women don't generally tend to get involved in, because it's a way of getting them involved in elements of the economy where they have the potential to actually earn more and to to have higher incomes.
Yeah. So you spoke about areas in electricals and electronics,
and so on, auto mechanics, things like that, so that where women are not traditionally very present. And we're also using this to address social norms, because as we know, social norms are often what are the reason why young women don't think about going into certain careers, because they think, oh, that's not a woman's job, or that's not a place where I would be comfortable working, or they fear that they will have certain obstacles. And then we have 2 other projects that are focusing on helping women to get out of the informal economy, to learn skills, to have access to women-friendly business support services, so that they will be able to do better and to grow their businesses and so on. So the 4 projects that we put in place today are the Women's Innovation for Sustainable Enterprises, or the WISE project, that is being implemented by Plan Canada. Then we have the Women's Economic Advancement for Collective Transformation, or the We Act project, which is being implemented by Oxfam Quebec and Oxfam Ghana. Then we have the innovation in non-traditional vocational education and skills training for women, implemented by WUSC, or World University Services of Canada. And then finally, we have the Building the Economic Well-Being of Women Through Industrial Trades, or the We North project, implemented through Alinea.
Why these particular programs, and why at this time?
Well, as part of our overall programming in Ghana, every year we go through a process of identifying priorities, of looking at our own strategy, the Feminist International Assistance Policy, and seeing what are the needs in the country and how can we support addressing those needs. And how can we continue to build on helping our partner countries to achieve their sustainable development goals. So through a lot of analysis and research, it was determined that this was an area where there was not as much being done as needed to be. And so we felt that it was our role, in line with our general priority in Ghana to support inclusive economic growth, to look more at women's economic empowerment, particularly through skills development and helping women grow their businesses and so on.
My observation is that a lot of almost all the organizations that you're partnering with are not locally based international organizations. Is there a particular reason?
So at the very start of this process to develop these projects, our ministry, Global Affairs Canada, issued a call for preliminary proposals, which was open, in fact, to Canadian and Ghanaian organizations. They had to put in preliminary proposals that met a certain set of criteria, and then there was a whole analysis process of the large number of proposals that we received. And in the end, by coincidence, I guess, it was 4 Canadian organizations that ended up putting in the proposals that were deemed to be the ones that would most effectively meet the objectives we were trying to reach. But I have to say that all 4 of those Canadian organizations are partnering with Ghanaian organizations. And in developing the details of their projects, the implementation plans, and how they're going to meet their goals and objectives, those Ghanaian partners were very much involved in the process. So it is, in fact, a joint effort. And those Ghanaian partners and the Canadian partners are also working closely with the relevant ministries and organizations in Ghana that are responsible for those areas.
An exclusive with the Canadian High Commissioner to Ghana, Kati Chibam, on Ghana-Canada relations and everything women empowerment. That's how we end this Good Friday edition of The Marketplace with me, Charles Aite. You could follow me on Twitter, which is @ChakAite, for more interactions. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the day.